There's something quietly powerful about reaching this stage of life. You've seen seasons come and go. You've carried questions and memories like old companions. But somewhere in the rhythm of daily life, many of us begin to feel a quiet hunger. Not for more to do, but for more to feel, more to understand, more to return to within ourselves. And the truth is, even now, especially now, you are still allowed to change, to shift, to soften. You're still allowed to turn inward and find something new waiting for you. So this is an invitation, not to start over, not to chase anything, but to set aside just 1 hour a day for 40 days, to let something shift inside, to explore, to heal, to reflect, not with urgency, but with care, 1 hour for you, to become reacquainted with your own inner world. Chapter 1, Why 40 Days in 1 Hour? There's something comforting about the idea of a set period of time, not forever, not a lifelong commitment, just a window, a season, a stretch of days you can hold in your hands. 40 days is long enough to mean something and short enough not to feel overwhelming. It gives you just enough time to settle into a rhythm without the pressure to achieve anything grand. It's a quiet container for change, subtle, sustainable change that comes not from force, but from gentle consistency. In many ways, the idea of committing to something for 40 days isn't about the number at all. It's about creating a boundary around your intention. It's about saying, I am giving myself this time, not because something is broken, not because I need fixing, but because I deserve my own attention. That hour each day becomes a small anchor in the noise of everything else. And over time, those hours begin to collect like pearls on a string. One by one, day by day, until they begin to shine. And why 1 hour? Because that's enough, more than enough. 1 hour is enough time for your nervous system to shift out of survival mode. It's enough time to go beneath the surface of your usual thoughts. It's enough time to make something, to reflect, to rest, to begin. It's long enough to matter, but not so long that it disrupts your day or feels burdensome. 1 hour is a promise, not a demand, a gift, not a sacrifice. And what happens within that hour is entirely up to you. That's the beauty of it. There's no right way. There's no script. What matters is the choice to carve out a piece of your day for something that nourishes you, something that brings you back to yourself, something that isn't for anyone else's benefit, just yours. So much of life is shaped by what we give our time to. And for many years, perhaps decades, your time may have been devoted to others, to responsibilities, to routines. That's not wrong. It's simply how life often moves. But when you pause and ask yourself what you might want to give your time to now, the answer often arrives in a whisper, in a quiet longing, in a sense that there is still something within you waiting to be seen. Setting aside 1 hour a day is not about self-improvement. It's not about productivity. It's not about proving anything to yourself or to anyone else. It's about presence, intention. It's about saying, I am still becoming. I am still worthy of tending. I still have an inner life that matters. You might notice resistance at first. That's okay, it's normal. The world doesn't often encourage us to slow down and pay attention to our inner world, especially not later in life, when the world tends to look outward. But here's the truth, it's never too late to turn inward. It's never too late to listen more closely, to create more space, to feel more alive inside your own skin. This is, or repeated for 40 days, becomes a doorway, a threshold, not to a different life, but to a more honest one, a more present one, a life that reflects who you are now, not just who you were or who others needed you to be. So let it begin gently. Let it begin wherever you are, even if you feel unsure, even if you don't know what you'll do with the time, even if your mind wants to label it as unimportant or indulgent. This isn't about having the answers. It's about showing up anyway, sitting with the questions, giving yourself room to breathe again. There's a quiet power in consistency. You may not notice much at first, but 1 hour becomes two. Two becomes a week becomes 10 days. And without needing to force anything, something inside begins to shift. The way you carry your thoughts, the way you hold space for your emotions, the way you speak to yourself. You begin to remember what it feels like to be in your own company without distraction. And that in itself is profound. This is what the 40 days are for, not for transformation you can measure, but for transformation you can feel. Softening, unfolding, returning. 1 hour a day, one gentle promise, one quiet change at a time. Chapter 2, Choosing a Gentle Focus. Think of this as a path with 3 open doors. You're welcome to step through one or blend them together. Each offers something different, but all 3 lead inward. The first is healing. Maybe there are pieces of the past that still rise to the surface when things grow quiet. Maybe certain memories still carry a weight, even after all this time. Or perhaps it's not about the past at all. Maybe it's the slow ache of change, the shifting of identity, the quiet loss of roles and routines that once defined your days. If this is the door you choose, your hour might be spent writing through it, or simply sitting with it, not trying to fix it, just witnessing it. Over time, this kind of showing up can soften what once felt sharp. Not all wounds need to be explained. Some simply need room to breathe. The second path is creativity. There may be something inside you that's been waiting, not for applause or perfection, but for permission. Maybe it's painting or writing. Maybe it's cooking something new or rearranging a space in your home just because it brings you joy. Creativity doesn't always look like art. Sometimes it's the way you tell a story or the way you pay attention to beauty in ordinary things. 1 hour a day can be a space to make something, anything, not because it needs to be useful, but because it's alive in you. And the third path is self-reconnection. So many of us spend decades showing up for others, meeting expectations, tending to the needs around us. Somewhere along the way, parts of ourselves can grow quiet. You might feel a pull to sit with who you are now, to check in with how your thoughts have changed, how your values have shifted, how your inner landscape looks and feels today. This might be an hour of reflection, a walk with no destination, sitting with an old photo or reading a book that sparks something inside you. This is the hour where you meet yourself again, slowly and without judgment. Chapter 3, How to Shape the Hour. When we talk about giving ourselves 1 hour a day, it's important to recognize how unfamiliar that might feel. Many of us have spent years, maybe most of our lives, giving our time to everything and everyone else. We've filled our days with tasks, appointments, routines, and often expectations that weren't even our own. So now when we say 1 hour just for you, it can feel oddly uncertain. Where do you begin? What are you supposed to do? What if you don't feel like doing anything at all? That's why it helps to begin with a loose shape, not a rigid structure, but a gentle rhythm that gives your hour some familiarity. Think of it as a soft container, not a box. It holds you, it supports you, but it never traps you. You might start with what we'll call arrival, 10 minutes or so to ease into your hour. This can be the simplest part of your day and maybe the most powerful. We're so used to leaping into action, to checking things off, to being in motion. But this time is different. These 10 minutes are about stepping out of that momentum, letting the pace of the day slow down, letting your body relax, letting your thoughts settle just enough so you can hear what's underneath them. You might sit in silence, eyes closed, hands resting in your lap. You might listen to soft music, or breathe slowly and intentionally. You might look out the window, noticing the light, the movement of trees, the stillness in the air. There is no right way to arrive. What matters is that you do, that you allow yourself to step into this hour with presence, not pressure. Then comes the heart of your time, 40 minutes to be with yourself in whatever way you need that day. Some days you might come to this time with clarity, knowing exactly what you want to explore. Other days you may feel blank, uncertain, even resistant. That's okay. The purpose of this practice isn't to perform, it's to notice, to trust that even when you feel like you're doing nothing, something within you is being tended to. You might spend these 40 minutes writing in a journal, letting your thoughts spill out without editing or censoring. You might write letters to yourself, your younger self, your future self, your present self, who simply wants to be understood. You might draw, even if you don't consider yourself an artist. Let color and shape express what words can't. You might simply sit and think, honestly, gently, about things you've never given yourself permission to explore. You might create something with your hands. Fold laundry slowly and mindfully. Water plants. Cook a small meal with no rush. Rearrange a drawer. Tend to your space as an extension of tending to yourself. If you're walking, let your steps match your breath. Don't aim to arrive anywhere. Let the walk itself be the practice. These 40 minutes are not about doing something productive. They're about making room. And what fills that room will change from day to day. Let it. Let your hour reflect who you are that day, not who you were yesterday, not who you think you should be, just you as you are now. And finally, the closing. The last 10 minutes are a chance to gently reflect. You don't need to make any declarations or discoveries, but it can be helpful, comforting even, to mark the end of your time with a small act of acknowledgement. You might write a sentence or two about how you felt. You might name one thing you noticed, one thing that felt new or familiar. You might simply sit again in silence, placing a hand on your heart or on your belly and thanking yourself for showing up. This simple act of closing your time tells your mind and body that something meaningful just happened, even if it felt quiet. It creates a sense of continuity, a rhythm you can look forward to. It gives this practice a pulse, a gentle heartbeat that carries through your day. And of course, none of this is fixed. The shape of your hour can shift. It will shift. Some days the arrival might take longer. Other days you may dive right into expression. Some days the closing may be brief. Some days you may not feel like doing any of it at all. That's okay. The real practice is in returning, in choosing to give yourself this hour not because you have to, but because you want to stay connected to something deeper inside you. Life is unpredictable. Our energy fluctuates. Our emotions come and go. But when we hold this hour as a gentle space, we begin to trust that no matter what else is happening around us, we can return here, to ourselves, again and again. Over time, this hour becomes more than just a time block in your day. It becomes a touchstone, a place of stillness in a moving world, a place where you don't need to explain yourself or perform or prove. You just get to be. And that, especially now, is not a small thing. So let the hour be yours. Let it be imperfect. Let it be real. Give it the freedom to become what you need and watch how it becomes something more than you expected. Chapter 4. Reflection Prompts Along the Way. There's a quiet kind of wisdom that lives inside us, especially as we grow older. It doesn't shout. It doesn't rush, it waits, patiently, softly. Sometimes we call it intuition or knowing or clarity, but often it gets buried beneath the noise of daily routines, the chatter of old stories, the pressure to keep moving forward without looking back. Reflection isn't meant about reliving the past or solving life's puzzles. It's about creating space for that inner wisdom to be heard again. And sometimes the best way to invite that wisdom forward is through questions. Not the kind you're supposed to answer quickly or correctly. Not the kind that test you, but the kind that sit beside you, quietly, like an old friend who knows how to listen. A good question doesn't always give you clarity right away. What it does is open something. It helps you soften around the edges of your thoughts. It helps you sit more comfortably with the parts of yourself you've overlooked. It gives shape to feelings that are hard to name. So as you move through these 40 days, consider bringing a question with you each day. Let it guide your hour if you'd like, or let it simply be present in the background. You don't have to write about it. You don't have to come up with an answer. Just carry it gently. Let it reveal what it wants to reveal. You might ask, what part of me have I outgrown? And what part of me still wants to grow? This is a powerful place to begin. We carry so many parts of ourselves, identities, habits, beliefs, that may have served us in the past, but no longer reflect who we are today. It's okay to let some of those parts go, and it's okay to want something new to emerge. You're allowed to keep becoming. Where did I feel calm today, even if only for a moment? So much attention is given to what's wrong, what's missing, what's heavy. But the small moments of peace matter too. The feeling of sunlight through the window, the way your body relaxes when you sit down, a memory that makes you smile unexpectedly. Noticing these moments helps you remember that calm still exists, even in small pockets. What am I carrying that no longer needs to be carried? Some burdens become so familiar we forget they're optional. A regret from years ago, a story someone told you about who you are, a standard you have held yourself to without even knowing why. This question isn't about forcing yourself to let go. It's about becoming aware of what you're holding and whether it's time to gently loosen your grip. What kind of life feels gentle to me now? As time goes on, your needs change. Your energy shifts. Your sense of what matters evolves. There's no right way to live, no universal version of what your days should look like. This question invites you to redefine ease on your own terms. What does gentleness look like now? What kind of rhythm suits your spirit? What would feel nourishing if only you allowed it? When was the last time I felt truly connected to myself? What was I doing? This can be a quiet yet powerful memory, a walk, a project, a conversation, a solitary morning, a simple act that made you feel whole. Sometimes we reconnect not through grand experiences, but through tiny moments of presence. Noticing what brings you home to yourself helps you find your way back more often. What do I need to hear from myself right now? Not from anyone else, not from the outside world, but from you. What words would comfort you, encourage you, steady you? Imagine your own voice being as kind and wise as you need it to be. Let it speak without judgment. Let it be enough. These questions aren't assignments. They're companions. Some will open something in you. Others may not resonate at all. That's okay. You're not trying to get anywhere. You're simply making space for yourself to be heard. If a question feels heavy one day, put it down. If one returns to you again and again, let it stay. If a question disappears but leaves behind a sense of ease or understanding, trust that it did what it needed to do. You might write your reflections down, or speak them out loud in the quiet of your room, or just carry them inside as you move through your day. Some people like to create a small journal just for these questions, marking each day with a simple response, or even a drawing, a phrase, a feeling. There's no required format, only honesty, only presence. Over time, these quiet reflections will begin to trace a path. You may notice how your responses shift from week to week. You may begin to hear your own voice more clearly, less critical, more patient, more rooted in truth than in expectation. You may find that the questions themselves begin to change. That's a sign you're deepening into yourself. And perhaps the most important thing to remember is this. You don't need profound answers. You don't need revelations. And you don't need to understand everything. The act of asking gently, kindly, regularly is what opens the door. The insights will come in their own time, often when you least expect them. This is the beauty of reflection. It's not about figuring yourself out. It's about remembering that you're worth being curious about, that you still have thoughts worth listening to, that your experience, just as it is, contains more wisdom than you may have realized. So ask gently, listen softly, be patient with what rises, and trust that this too is part of the transformation. Chapter 5, How to Notice the Shifts. The most meaningful changes are often the quietest. They don't announce themselves. They don't arrive all at once. You may not notice anything at first, but slowly something softens. The way you speak to yourself becomes kinder. The way you walk through your day holds more ease. You become a little more patient with the unknown. You listen more closely to what your body is telling you. You start to make decisions that reflect who you are now, not who you once were. Keeping a shift journal can help bring these subtle changes into the light. Just one or two sentences at the end of your hour. What felt different today? What thought surprised me? What emotion rose and fell without needing to be named? Over time, you'll begin to see a thread running through these quiet moments, a quiet arc of change. Chapter 6, The Power of Returning to Yourself. This practice isn't about improvement. It's about presence. It's about remembering that your inner world is still rich, still unfolding, still worthy of your attention. You don't need to strive. You don't need to explain yourself. You only need to be willing to show up with curiosity, with tenderness, with patience. Some days will feel full of insight. Others will feel ordinary. Both are part of the journey. What matters most is that you keep making space for yourself. 1 hour at a time, 40 days that are just for you, not to change who you are, but to uncover what's already there. You are not too late. You have not missed your chance. The world within you is still alive, still waiting to be listened to, still full of color and wisdom and wonder. 1 hour a day may not seem like much, but over time it can become a path, a homecoming, a quiet remembering that your life, your inner life, still matters. 40 days, 1 hour at a time. Begin when you're ready and come back whenever you need. If this spoke to you, I'd love for you to be part of this growing community. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. This space is for healing, for reflection, for real connection. Thank you for being here.